So, hi. Thank you, Yarda and Alex, for insightful talks so far. And let's see what we have today here. So I will talk about React performance from the practical side or point of view. My name is Palo, Otčenáš, but you will know more about me at the end. Let's dive right in. What I'm going to talk about today is why React performance matters. I picked some nice demo React app that I will show you, and we will be kind of live coding, as I found out 20 minutes is not too much. And we will be optimizing performance, and we will try to do it all over again and again and again. Also, we will be saving lives today, so wait for it. Who loves loading indicators? See? Oh, come on. No, I expected no hands, okay. But thank you. Well, there were some, like 3 people, probably. Cool. Anyway. I asked ChatGPT because what would a presentation nowadays without ChatGPT be, right? So what do you think? Why do people hate waiting? Well, read it. I will summarize it. Waiting is basically evoking very negative emotions. It also is a waste of time for people, and it implies lose of control when they work with any application or anything. So that's why. And you can save lives because you can help these frustrated people, and you can speed up your sluggish React apps. So to make users happy again. So let me just show you what sample React app I will use. But we will focus here on just the feed component, videos component, video itself, and then video contains, some more components like image, title, channel name, and then some actions with this like button. So far, like easy. Now just to explain how can we optimize React performance, there are many ways, but I will explain like 2 techniques today. We will be seeking for unnecessary renders to make the app more effective, and we will help with help of memorization, we will cache heavily basically, and then we will render only what's visible, which is the other technique. And for that, we will use lazy loading. So the game starts now, and we will be counting saved lives. I told you. Okay, so seeking unnecessary renders. How do we do that? Well, I will show you right away. We will use React Profiler for that. So this is my editor on the left side. Is it on left? Yes, cool. It's not mirrored. On the right side, there is a web page running from this React application. And in here, I have DevTools open. So when I said React Profiler, you are probably aware there are React DevTools. How many of you know it or seen it or used it? Oh, great. That's cool. So I don't have to explain too much into detail. But anyway, first thing I would do here is I would enable highlight updates when components render so that I kind of know and see it. You will see right away. And then I enabled record why each component rendered while profiling, which would be helpful. I will show you in a second. Okay, now when I would go into this component videos, just briefly, there is basically a list of videos that's mapped into video component. That's great. Let's try what we can see when we record profile from this. So let's say this page was rendered, nice. As you've seen all the boxes there, that's because I enabled the highlighting. I will click like button. Oh, nice, it's re-rendering a lot. So there's a lot to optimize here. in this upper part, you can see React commits, which is basically the way React updates DOM from its rendering, right? And we can move through those commits as those were happening. And by the colors, oh, well, you said you are familiar with Profiler, but anyway, the colors mean how long it actually took. This React application is super fast, so I won't show too much of those numbers and measuring here. But what I'm interested here, why things render, or why, for example, when I click like, all the videos are re-rendered all over again, because this is something I don't like, right? So here I can click on a component videos and see, oh, this is a video. Okay, so I can go through here, and this is the reason why it rendered. So this is the first time it rendered. Nice. Okay, now props changed. Nice. Video and add like. Okay, so that's interesting. Again, props change, add like. Oh, this is something unexpected. And again, add like. Well, something doesn't play here. But anyway, the first thought would be, why don't we memorize this, right? So that it doesn't re-render all the time. Okay, let's try this. I would go to video and I would wrap this with React Memo. Well, I did this here, so it's exactly what I can do with higher order component. So let me just switch this here for the lack of time. Okay, now I'm gonna reload this page and try to record again. What's happening? Oh, it's still re-rendering all the other videos. Oh, well, that's weird. So let's stop that and take a look again through the commits. Okay, I'm interested in videos. Nice. Well, now it shows something a bit more different, but still all those videos are rendered. I will pick one. Okay, maybe some other. This is weird. It says props changed, add like. Well, let's take a look at the component here. Okay, add like. That's repeating again there. Add like is basically, as videos component is being re-rendered all the time. You probably know what to do, right? Who would guess? Use callback. No way. Cool. So use callback. You knew that. You don't have to be here, right? But maybe wait a minute. Okay, that should do it, right? I don't need any dependencies here because, well, actually set video is coming out of here, but it's stable dispatcher function here, so I don't need to put it here. Okay, let's try to reload the page again and do the recording if it helped. Oh, nice. As you can see, it's not highlighting the other videos now. Oh, that's cool. That seems like it worked now. So let me take a look closer into videos here, into commits. Okay, I'm clicking through that. And it's rendering only the single video. There is no notion of the other videos are basically memoized. Did you see it? All these other videos here were not rendered because they are gray. And that's cool. But there's still one thing I don't like. When I click on like, actually maybe just, we just saved one life. Whee! This. Also one other life, so 2 now. Great. Yeah, by the way, I wanted to say that using memoization is a great thing, but only if you are dealing with changing of props. But it might happen that the component usually renders with different props almost all the time, and that's the case when you don't want to use memo at all. So don't overcomplicate it. And measure the performance. If the performance gain is worth it, then use it. But otherwise, it doesn't make sense because there's some overhead with using the memo when the props are constantly compared. And for that case, just don't use it. Okay, let's get back here. The one thing that bothers me here when I constantly clicking here is that the video itself, I mean, the style with thumbnail and title and whatnot is still re-rendering. I would like to improve that. Let's go to video memo. In video, I can see there's a video card. Okay, let's go there. What's there? There's some card here with content and card actions. Oh, well, actually, the only thing that's changing here is these likes, right? Okay, so the only thing I need here to render is this, but the content can be fully memoized. Well, forgive me for this case. I will use memo for memoizing the component content that's there. But usually you would rather want to do probably a different thing, and that is using use memo properly for some, let's say, heavy calculations or something. And this would be a separate component. But in this special application I'm showcasing here, this is very convenient for me that is programmed like that. So that's great. I will use memo, and by using use memo, I can fully memoize the content. Oh, yeah, I need to provide some dependencies here. So let me figure out what's there. There's some video ID, there's some snippet, and that's about it. Okay. Cool. Now it should work. Let's take a look. Oh, nice, it started working, but maybe we should do it properly and record it. Now when I'm clicking, as you can see, the only area that's rendered is this whole thing and the button itself. So I will stop recording and show you that that's really the thing that happened. It was a video card, right? Or video. I will go through the commits. Yeah. Now it's rendered. Now not, because it was already memoized and only basically the button rendered there. That's nice. Well, what again? Oh, we used one more. We saved one more life, right? What? Silence? Okay, never mind. Okay, you probably knew all of this, right? So let's try to render only what's visible. How do we do that? I have these videos here, and only these 4 tiles here are visible for videos. So what we could do here, let's say I would take just the one thumbnail that's here, and I would say, well, render it only when it's visible. I don't care about all the others, right? Why would I render all the others? Okay, so let's try to find it. Okay, so this is a video component. It contains video. And so what can I do in video? I can do something like this. I'm cheating a bit here for the lack of time. But anyway, it's the same component, except what I added is my custom hook that's returning Boolean is visible. And when it's visible, just render what's there. When it's not, I don't care. It also takes the box that's wrapping it, because we need this div to tell whether it's already visible or not, and provide it to that custom hook. So that custom hook, inside of it, is using intersection observer. That's a web API. Some of you might be familiar with this, but if you are not, don't worry. It's pretty easy, and there's a lot of documentation regarding it. But the thing is, this custom hook has a visibility state that's returning it, a Boolean. And then there's an effect which just creates new intersection observer and observes the element, the box we have ref on. And that's it. Whenever this box is intersecting, meaning it's visible in the viewport, well, set the state to visible. And that's it. Yeah, we can talk about the intersection observer more, or you can have more questions later on. But for now, this is it. Let me try to use it and show it. So video visible, cool. Let's try to use it like this. I have also memoized version here just to. Cool. Now let's take a look. I can record. I can go into some other page here, stop recording, and what we would expect here is that in videos component, we would see rendered. I'm on first commit now, so what I see rendered here is just the first, well, I need to grab some other commit here. Here, that's nice, because here I can see that obviously only 4 components were rendered, and all the others, these gray items, were not. And that's actually what I want. If I would hit record again and show some more components there and hit stop, it would be showing that these components were already rendered. I'm rendering these components and all the others are still not rendered, right? So it's working the way I want. Nice. One more life saved. Nice. Again, intersection observer allows you to detect visibility of an element, and it's ideal for lazy loading of any content. Basically, you scroll into view, but there's a lot more information in the documentation, so go ahead and try it. Oh, I'm a bit ahead here. Lazy. You probably know React Lazy, but I will show it anyway because I think it belongs here. It's basically, let's say this application has some main file, okay, and there's app here, okay. So in app we have some router with routes, rendering all these components. Nice. All these components are imported like that, and that's cool. With this in mind, basically when a bundler like Webpack or Rollup or Vite will create its bundle, it's all just one JavaScript file. What we actually want, we want the split code in the bundle into chunks, and then we can lazy load those individual components on demand. I have prepared UpLazy here, and UpLazy, it's basically doing what I just said, except I added React suspense here, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that it just renders these components that are not imported right away, but imported via React Lazy dynamically, right? Import something. And this allows for the application to load basically the routes, but React Lazy is general, can be used for any component and any place. But in this case is when I change route, it goes and loads the JavaScript bundle. To show you this, I will need to switch to preview the application where I have a production build of it, where the chunks are actually there prepared. So the preview build is running on some other URL. Cool. I will go to network and I will filter a video here because that's the file I'm interested in, and reload the page. Now I can see that only videos.js was loaded, which is nice because I really see videos component here. So what about video detail? I will go deeper. Oh, now the video detail was loaded. So maybe it doesn't make sense to do this in such a small application, but imagine you are building like super huge application at work that really needs this in order to run efficiently performance-wise. So this is pretty good technique to use React Lazy to defer loading of components, and code splitting is necessary, as I said, for this. And it's because less code in browser means faster UI, right? You just, for one route, you load just a minimum code that is necessary there, not more. 5 lives saved. Woo! I don't hear it. Come on. Finally. Okay, conclusion. Yeah, I will leave you. You can take a beer now or something. What we have learned today: how to find unnecessary renderers in React Profiler. Yeah, you've seen that. How to use memo, use callback, and for example, lazy or intersection observer. Maybe next time I will have more time to use transition and request idle callback that are really super useful also for more performance optimizations. Anyway, not today. You just saved 5 lives today, and that's great because if you remember, those people were really frustrated at the beginning because they were waiting a lot. So now, 2, 3, yeah, all of them are dancing. They are happy, right? You are better than a psychiatrist. Okay, cool. And that was it. Thank you. And there's some info about me. Yeah. Okay. First question from Michal. How to find inefficient usages of use memo in my app? That's a very good question, which I don't know answer to. Inefficient usages of use memo. Well,
you monkey patch it.
Monkey patch it? Well, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Let's say what we use today here in the application was kind of not the usual case. I wouldn't use it usually like that. But for some very long running calculations or calculations that needs, basically that would block the thread for a long time. You won't just memorize the result of the calculation. So if you want to find some specific use case where you don't want to use it, it's basically if it's not a heavy calculation. Okay, if you are doing some really light thing, you just don't wrap everything in use memo. You don't need it probably, right? That would be just more overhead for your React application and make the code messy, unreadable. Maybe one use memo won't, but again, imagine the huge application where you have thousands of files and you need to go through thousands of use memos. You would be sick of it, right? But one usage where it's really like almost a must-have, similar to the case of use callback, which is basically just use memo for functions, is when you are memoizing your component. Let's say we memoized the video component, and in this case, it wasn't enough to provide the callback as it was there because it was always recreated. And the same would be with some other property that would be going there. That would be, for example, counting likes or whatnot through some other measures. And that would need to be memoized in order for that memoized component down there, the video, to work. Okay? So I hope I answered. It took longer. Yeah, one more question there. Can you throw the microphone? You seem to be really proficient at that. So Thank you.
Okay, so easy question, I hope. Can you hear me? When we use render only visible and we clicked the like button, let's say there was something somewhere in the bottom of the page. What happens to that if the user scrolls down? Is it updated, or is it gonna need a refresh or a reload, or is it gonna be have to the same state? Something important.
You mean the intersection observer, if it's updated, or?
No, I mean when we used render only visible components.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's say we clicked the like button on the first video, but there is something in the bottom of the page that maybe is important after clicking the like. Something. It doesn't matter what it is. Is it gonna be updated when the user scrolls down? Is he gonna see the updated?
Well, the way I see it, React is just the view layer, right? So you have the state somewhere else, and obviously you need to propagate that state down. So whenever that component down there is going to be rendered at any point in time, you will use the most current state you have for that. So yes, it's going to be accurate. Yeah, right? We can have some more questions there, but let me answer this. People ask here. Okay, does intersection observer need to be mocked in tests? Yes. Okay, I guess that's it. And should you use callback when you make React custom hook? Should you or should you not? Well, you could if you need it. Why not? So let's say you will have a custom hook that will be then returning some other callbacks as a methods, right? As a modifiers. So these methods could be, I don't know, add like or increment something. And these methods can be then used as a properties to memoized component. So if you are building a custom hook that's going to be used by some other people, let's say, or other components at places that you probably don't know what all the usages are going to be, it's probably better to have a use callback there, because then those people can automatically just memorize this without touching your custom callback and changing your code. It would be prepared for that. So in this case, I would say yes, it's better to do it. But if you are just working on your small application and you know your custom hook is just used somewhere that doesn't need any memorization and whatnot, well, don't use it. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Anyway, if you will have some more questions, I'm here the whole evening. So that's it.